In 2017, when Banjo Blitz was just 16 weeks old, I released a video that has been one of my most viewed videos to date, the drop thumb illusion. 27,000 views. In the grand scheme of things, this is not a huge number, but for a little channel like mine, it's a lot. Too bad I hadn't watered my plant. I still get emails about this video asking for clarification, and now that I've built up my teaching chops, I feel like I can make it a little bit easier to understand. I've also developed 2 exercises that can help you master drop thumb, so stay tuned until the end of the video to see those. So what's the problem? I noticed over the years that drop thumb has been taught as a separate advanced technique, or it's a technique to be avoided because it's too fancy or difficult to master. And then there's a video of Doc Watson, one of my all-time favorite musicians of any genre, saying that drop thumb was too hard for him to learn, so he just skipped it entirely. I heard that interview when I was in the first year of my playing, and I figured that if Doc Watson couldn't drop thumb, there was no way little Tommy was going to be able to figure it out. It was only much later in my banjo playing that I had the realization that all drop thumb is a double thumbing pattern with the thumb on a string that isn't the 5th. This means that the mechanics of drop thumb are nearly identical to a regular vanilla double thumbing pattern. What makes drop thumb feel so difficult is that we have to contend with strings getting in our way as we progress towards the head with our downstroke. What I focus on is an energetic throw where I'm sending my hand into the head of the banjo, which helps drive the strings apart so I can get a solid deep purchase on the string with the pad of my thumb. So from the fulcrum, I throw and I toss that hand into the banjo, driving into the head. My thumb goes with me, almost leading the charge, and forces the strings apart so I can get in deep on the pad. That really helps me find the string I need to connect with, and it gives me lots of purchase on the string for the subsequent upstroke. This perspective change on what drop thumb is can help a ton, but it doesn't replace old-fashioned practice, so here are 2 exercises that help me master the drop thumb. All right, for these 2 exercises, I am in double C. We're gonna start with just an alternating drop thumb move. So we're going to put our ring finger on the 5th fret of the 1st string. And the string pattern that I'm going to play is simply a 1, 2, 1, 5 pattern. Now it's really helpful. Here's the trick to an exercise like this, especially when you're working on the adjacent string gap. We are focusing on the thumb, so turn your attention, as difficult as it may be, turn your attention away from the downstroke and towards your thumb. Throw that thumb into the strings all the way in so that you're meeting that string with almost the center line of your thumb pad, getting good purchase on it, grabbing it on the upstroke, getting it to ring, and then throwing it back into the 5th string for the finishing move. Okay, so now we can take this exercise and we can make it a little bit more interesting, a little bit more pretty, and a little bit more challenging because we're going to get the left hand to be more active. So we're going to walk down a little scale here from 5th to 3rd to 2nd fret and then back up. Tablature will be available for patrons over on Patreon. Here we go. Sped up. Pay attention to what your thumb is doing. The whole point of this exercise is to get you focused on throwing the thumb into the string and managing that adjacent string gap attack. Let's go faster. We can make this faster by moving the left hand faster, so we get a pattern like this. All right, let's go to our second workout for the adjacent string gap. I call a pattern like this a sweep. If you've been around here on my channel before, you've seen these patterns where we are using a drop thumb pattern, but we're making our low string happen on the 1. So I'm getting into my 1 chord, my C shape, which is just index finger down on the 2nd fret of the 1st string. And I start my sweep pattern nice and slow. And we speed this up. Add some movement to that same scale. Now, again, we are focusing on that thumb. We are making sure that that thumb is driving into the strings simultaneous to that downstroke. That is really important. These 2 exercises transformed the way that I was able to deploy the adjacent string gap, otherwise known as the drop thumb, in my playing at will. So it's not sort of an extraneous technique. It's not a technique I have to think about. It's just a technique that is in my palette of colors that I can reach for at will. So spend some time, go slow with this. You've got to be focused on the thumb to get this to happen right, to solve the problem that you're looking to solve. And then once you get that going, you can add some interesting embellishments by climbing up and down the scale on the 1st string. All right, that does it for me today. Thank you so much for joining me. If you want to find out more about what I do, please do check out the link below. This is the last video in my Blueprints of Clawhammer series. For now, we are returning to tunes all fall. I have an amazing lineup of tunes that I'm teaching over on Patreon. Check the link below in the description. I also still have t-shirts available, so if you want to support this channel and get an amazing banjo t-shirt in the process, the link is below. I will see you next time on Banjo Quest.